Hello, I'm Lucy Hockings. Good to have you with us. Let's start with breaking news from here in the UK. Developments on defence deployments. The BBC understands that HMS Dragon will be heading to Cyprus next week. The Type 45 air defence destroyer has begun resupplying air defence missiles at the ammunition facility in Portsmouth. We are also learning that 2 Wildcat helicopters will be deployed this week as well. With me is our defence correspondent, Jonathan Beale. What have you been learning, Jonathan?
Well, so I think there was an expectation that perhaps HMS Dragon would be sent sooner. Let's be honest, there were a lot of people who said it should have been sent sooner, but it has been in maintenance. I think it was originally earmarked for another mission, and remember, the Navy is switching the focus. It has no warships in the Gulf, in the Middle East region, which it has in the past, regularly, routinely. There are no major British warships there now, and it has been focusing on the Atlantic because of the threat of Russia, and that's a deliberate choice. So I think that Dragon was one of those destroyers used to protect aircraft carriers that might have been going with HMS Prince of Wales to the North Atlantic, but now has been given a new mission and therefore has got to make preparations. They've got to load the ammunition, so it's not going to sail immediately. And the probability is it will sail next week. Those helicopters you mentioned, which have fitted with missiles which can take down drones, Wildcat helicopters based at the Royal Navy's Yeovilton headquarters, will probably arrive in Cyprus sooner. But
so
things
how long
are
will
moving.
HMS Dragon take to get there?
So it'll take the best part of a week for a ship to get from Portsmouth into the Eastern Mediterranean. So it's not going to be there imminently. I mean, the reassurance that UK military figures give is that they've got ground-based air defence as well, but we also know a drone landed inside Akrotiri, and we are told that drone did not come from Iran. It's a Shahed-style drone. They won't say, though, where they think that drone was fired from, but they do say it wasn't from Iran.
And these Wildcat helicopters that are being sent, they're armed with drone-busting missiles.
I think that's a phrase that the Ministry of Defence is using.
I actually have a press release from the Ministry of Defence that I've kept with me all day.
I think they're martlet missiles which can either hit a target on the surface or a low-flying,
but it's the drones,
relatively slow-moving.
At the moment, Jonathan, is the drones that are critical.
It is,
right.
yeah. So if you think about what Iran has, and something else that officials say, ballistic missiles which they have been firing, and we saw figures of more than 100 in the initial stages, now dropping off to well below 100. It may well be, they're saying, that Iran does not have huge stocks of that. It is possible also they're preserving their stocks for a later moment. What they do have lots of is drones, cheap drones, the kind of drones that Russia has been using, and in fact the Americans have almost copied the Shahed drone to launch their own attacks. So they still have lots of those, but the US Air Force and the Israeli Air Force have air superiority now, and they are pretty much flying all over the country wherever they will, without having to worry too much about air defences and hitting production sites, launch sites, which is going to make it much more difficult for Iran.